So I think the Chicago Bears have a hidden problem that absolutely no one's talking about. And the main narrative is that the Bears haven't invested in their offensive line. Like, I'm not sure I fully agree with that narrative, but okay, let's table it. But one narrative that's definitely correct. This is rapidly getting distilled down to poor coaching. I fully agree with this, but not for the reason everyone thinks, because Shane Waldron came on the team this year. He showed himself to be a very good offensive coordinator. He did a great job in Seattle, but now inexplicably, poor execution, no identity offensively, terrible pass pro, weird play calls. But this is the same coach who did so well in Seattle. Does it really make sense that all of a sudden a coach comes to the Chicago Bears and forgets how to coach? It makes zero sense. And now, on top of this, you bring back an O line without a lot of changes, right? A line that was starting to be graded to be a top line in the NFL going by the second half of the season. This is fact. Now suddenly they can't block their way out of a paper bag. Suddenly, does an offensive line suddenly forget how to block? How do previously good players in a good unit suddenly look like they don't know what they're doing? Doesn't make sense. So let's ask this: what the heck happened? It's very possible that one mismatch coaching choice, a decision to retain a portion of the staff when hiring offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, that this is the crux of the problem. Waldron was not allowed to put together his own staff in one crucial position, and we're seeing the results. I want to get into this. I think this may be all about offensive line coach Chris Morgan. He is a great coach, but he should not have been kept on the staff. And this might be the reason this is blowing up in the Bears' faces. What's up, you guys? This is Sports Talk Bears. I'm Sean. Welcome to the channel. We're pushing toward 10,000 subscribers. Please bless us. Hit the subscribe button. Would absolutely love to have you be a part of this growing community. So let's get to it here, okay? Sportsmockery.com. They brought up an incredible point here. The angle to this story really resonated with me, and I'm kind of shocked no one else has talked about this. So if you kind of look at this full lay of the land, you come into the season once again, you have no line that's being graded as one of the best lines in the NFL over the second half of the season. This is fact. It's fact that the offensive line was on an upswing. Now, the offensive coordinator was absolutely awful, and Luke Getsy, we fire him. That assessment of him has been reinforced. The same thing just happened to him with the Las Vegas Raiders. He just got fired. So we can table that. Enter Shane Waldron. Once again, showed himself to be a really good coordinator. Now everything seems to be a mess. Same coach who did well in Seattle. I think it might have come down to Eberflus making a huge mistake. This mistake may have hamstrung him from the start. Eberflus insisted on keeping offensive line coach Chris Morgan. And frankly, Morgan is a good coach. He did a good job. At the moment of Coach Flus doing this, it looked like a smart move. But here's the thing. Waldron and Morgan, they had absolutely no familiarity, no relationship prior to this. And you can argue that Waldron runs a McVay-ish scheme, but it's significantly different than the Getsy scheme. Run totally different, unique personnel groupings, 12 and even 13 personnel routinely. Pass protection, fully different scheme. Run scheme, not the same. And the proof of this run scheme being completely different is that we just jettisoned running back Khalil Herbert for a 7th round pick. He's no longer a fit. That's proof of this. And so why on earth would the offensive line coach still be a good fit if you think about this? No chemistry together. It's very possible that offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, he was sided with an offensive line coach that clashes. Personnel still being coached the same way to block the same scheme, a scheme that no longer exists on this offense. So I'm not sure why, besides this mismatch, that a previously good line now looks lost at times. And if you think about it, how two previously good coaches in Waldron and Morgan now look fully incompetent. That just doesn't happen, right? It makes zero sense. And I think what's happening is that Waldron might just be playing whack-a-mole, trying to fit play calling in with a line that's never going to be in sync schematically. So here we go. His initial reaction starting out, right? He's thinking, I'm going to try to put in guys that know my scheme perfectly. Maybe that'll help. guys like Travis Homer, guys like Gerald Everett. And then if you're a fan like me, all of us, it's starting to make sense why it would do that. While all of us are screaming, why aren't you using your most talented guys? Why isn't Cole Kmet and a better running back in when there's 2 minutes to go in the game? But the thing is, Waldron was may have been searching for some familiarity when sidled with an offensive line that just will not block properly in his scheme. This angle hasn't been brought to light. It deserves some consideration. I can't believe it hasn't been talked about before now. And if we're looking at what should happen in the future, maybe the coach that needs to be fired right now or very soon, maybe that guy is Coach Morgan. Not that he's incompetent, not that he does a bad job, but simply because he's absolutely the wrong fit. And then allow Waldron to bring in his guy to scheme up this line properly. It's about fit. And Coach Eberflus, he made a huge personnel mistake. The team is paying for it. Clashing styles, an arranged marriage. Add to the recipe a rash of injuries. And if you have this amount of injuries on any NFL football team along the offensive line, if you're in this situation that we find ourselves in with hurt players, this isn't a team. There's not a team in the NFL that could still be a great unit in this situation. But there is some hope here, right? First of all, the line could actually be healthy coming into Green Bay next week, and that's a very good thing. The defense is almost complete, but we need to somehow, we'll see how it works in this game, we need to somehow account for the huge loss of Andrew Billings. We got to find a way to beat New England, come into Green Bay 5-4. Actually, it's at home, I believe. Anything can happen moving forward. Maybe the move that needs to happen is to change the offensive line coach. And maybe we're kind of chasing down the wrong stories, right? Every story I see is fire Coach Eberflus right now. Every single story that I see is even getting rid of GM Ryan Poles. And then we're in a situation that we're looking at doing the same thing that the Chicago Bears have done, doing Chicago Bear things. We're going back to Mitch Trubisky. We bring him in, regardless if you think we should have chosen someone else. I agree with that. But you bring in a rookie quarterback, you sidle him with a coach like Fox. Fox isn't any good. We all know that. You jettison the coach after year one. In comes Matt Nagy. Big surprise. It doesn't work. And then you do the same thing of Justin Fields. You have Nagy with Justin Fields. After his rookie season, oh, Nagy's terrible. Fire Nagy. Start over. Reset the table. Big surprise. Justin Fields did not work out. So now we're in the same situation. We've got Coach Eberflus. We've got Caleb Williams, who I actually still believe is a generational talent. He is the right guy. Is it intelligent as a team, regardless of what's happening? Is it intelligent as a team to once again fire the coaching staff, switch schemes, along with switching schemes, probably have a whole change in personnel? Probably that means that you jettison the defensive staff, which is absolutely excellent. You get rid of the best defensive play caller in the league, arguably, with Coach Eberflus. You jettison out Coach Washington, who's the best defensive line coach in the game. I think that's actual fact. He's our defensive coordinator. You make all these changes. You reset the table. You do things that the Chicago Bears do. And we run the risk of having the same thing with our guy, with Caleb Williams, that we've had for the last two quarterbacks. I'm not saying all this stuff is fact. I just want to start this conversation, and maybe this knee-jerk reaction to things that we're seeing all across the media. Maybe this, what have you done for me lately, without any look into the future. I'm not going to participate in that. I want to be a more calming influence in that. So let me know if you guys agree. Like and subscribe. Send me a comment. I would love to interact with you. And yeah, bear down. Let's beat New England. See ya.